I'm Dr. Chris Friesen from Friesen Performance, where I help you achieve your greatest potential by optimizing your psychology, physiology, and neurology. You may have heard something about willpower. Willpower refers to our ability to delay gratification and resist short-term impulses to achieve our long-term goals. You may also have heard of the terms grit and self-control. Grit refers to our ability to sustain interest and effort towards long-term goals. Self-control refers to our ability to control our impulses in the face of temptations and distractions. It turns out self-control, willpower, and grit are all subtraits of a more global personality dimension known as conscientiousness in the literature. In my book, I refer to this as motivation and self-control. Those of us who are high on the personality dimension of motivation and self-control tend to be very organized, self-disciplined, goal-oriented, and deliberate. Those of us who are low on this dimension tend to be more disorganized, undisciplined, and have a hard time getting themselves to do things they know they should do. High levels of grit, willpower, self-control, motivation, these are keys to success. These personality tendencies come out in childhood. It turns out that children who are high on the personality dimension of motivation and self-control, and more specifically willpower, they have a whole bunch of positive outcomes in the present and in the future. Longitudinal studies show that children who have higher levels of willpower tend to do better in school. They tend to be better at resisting drugs and other substances. As adults, they have higher incomes, they have better relationship satisfaction, and they have better health. In addition to this, they have higher self-esteem and better mental health. Like most personality tendencies, there's room to improve your willpower. This is done by understanding how it works, how to work with it and around it, and how to strengthen it. Keep in mind, we all struggle with getting ourselves to do things we know we should do. We also struggle with stopping ourselves from doing things we know we shouldn't do. Those of us who are average to low on the personality dimension of motivation and self-control need to focus on this even more. It's going to be even harder for you. So pay extra attention to this video and the upcoming videos I have on willpower. This is especially true if you struggle to get yourself to do things you know you should do. This is a willpower and motivation issue. These are struggles like getting yourself to get up early to exercise, or to do quadrant 2 activities that are not urgent but important that I've talked about in previous videos. Another key to high achievement relates to our ability to handle negative emotions and stress. I'm going to be focusing on strategies to deal with this in upcoming videos. Those of you who are high on the personality dimension of negative emotions and stress, what I refer to as susceptibility to negative emotions and stress, in the literature it's called neuroticism or negative affect. Those of you who are average to high on this are going to really need to put a lot of effort into learning how to handle stress if you want to achieve big goals. Those of us who are high on the personality dimension of negative emotions are more prone to worry, negative thinking, and various negative emotions like irritability, anxiety, and low mood. This contrasts those of us who are low on this dimension, who tend to be really calm, patient, and rarely get affected by stress. Although willpower is mostly related to your standing on the personality dimension of motivation and self-control, it's also related, but to a lesser extent, to your standing on the personality dimension of negative emotions. Getting yourself to do things you know you should do, like waking up early, working on a project, or other quadrant 2 activities that I discussed in my previous videos, that is more of a motivation issue. Stopping yourself from doing things you know you shouldn't do, like overeating, overspending, shopping on Amazon too much, smoking, drinking too much, gambling, checking your phone, and scrolling through social media feeds. These are related to emotions because we use these behaviors to change our emotional states, to improve our emotional states, and we also have a hard time tolerating the distress or the uncomfortable feeling we have when we resist these things. This means that learning to better tolerate our negative emotions and stress will increase our willpower. Remember, willpower refers to our ability to delay gratification and to resist temptations and distractions in order to achieve our long-term goals. This requires a more logical or rational way of thinking. It also requires us not to get swept up by our emotions. When we're swept up by our emotions, we get what we call an amygdala hijack. The amygdalae are two almond-like structures that are deep in our brains. They're part of the limbic system. When the limbic system is activated, it shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the front of our brains, that controls the logical, rational way of thinking. The term amygdala hijack was coined by Dr. Daniel Goleman. He's the author of the best-selling book, Emotional Intelligence. I once worked with a very successful professional hockey player who often got these amygdala hijacks. Someone would slash him or check him and he would start to see red. He would take bad penalties and he would just get out of the game. He would get out of the zone. Attempts by his coaches or teammates to calm him down didn't work at all in the moment. It was only after the games when he was calmer that his prefrontal cortex came back online, that he could see how his behavior was hurting the team and hurting himself. Have you had problems like this, where you got so upset that you did things you regretted? What kind of situations does your limbic system hijack you? The good news is you can learn to work around and with your willpower, and you can also learn how to strengthen it. I'm going to go over this in the upcoming videos. You first need to understand how willpower and the brain works. Then you'll be able to work within the rules of your psychology, physiology, and neurology to achieve your potential. You can do this. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please share with friends or family that may benefit from the content. If you want to get the first 2 chapters of my book, Achieve, I left a link below in the description. So until next time, keep moving forward.